Oh boy! Okay then, so the Kawaki arc is over, and that is just kind of crazy to me. I remember this starting what feels like not too damn long ago, but it's probably been like 10 months, something like that. So it's crazy to think that the Kawaki arc is now actually finished, and I seriously didn't expect this to be the actual final fight of the arc, purely for the fact that, in all honesty, I actually thought the fight was kind of I mean, mainly because, and this is more of like a personal gripe I have with Ikimoto as opposed to the actual content of the story, and that's just that his art, in my opinion, just doesn't entertain me. There's no backgrounds, like you don't get a good vision of what's actually going on in the fight apart from the actual times their fists or kicks connect. It's like, are they fighting on the ground? Are they in the air? How high up in the air are they? The taijutsu scenes are heavily recycled throughout the entirety of the fight across multiple chapters. Shout out to Hot Pepper Spice on Twitter for creating this little collage to kind of prove my point here. And it definitely reflected in my overall opinion of the fight, as it's definitely left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. However, I do admit that when this fight finally gets animated in the anime, in God knows how many years' time, it's going to look stunning. So it's not the fact that the fight itself was bad, it's just Ikimoto's art did nothing to it justice-wise, and it just really made it look a little bit bland. However, with the beautiful animation that Studio Pierrot and the anime is going to give it, I'm sure it's going to look stunning. The way Naruto beat Delta, in my opinion, was quite good, but I don't get why he waited till now to overload her. I think, personally, maybe this is just me, and maybe this is just my inexperienced writing coming into play, I'm not too sure, but I think it would have been much better and much cooler if he alluded to the fact that Naruto was trying to make a short circuit from the beginning of the fight. So, say, right when he learned about what her capabilities are, and that was scientific ninja tech, a little bit like Kawaki and Momoshiki and all this, maybe if he started subtly dropping hints to the reader as kind of foreshadowing as what Naruto's actual plan was, by maybe like loading a Rasengan and then loading up a couple more quick Rasengans and then making them a bit bigger and making it seem as though Delta's in the lead the entire time, and then when this chapter comes around and we realise what Naruto's actually doing, we could have been like, okay, so we thought Delta was winning, but boom, Naruto had a plan straight from the beginning, whereas the way I read this chapter and the entire fight, I feel as though Naruto never had a game plan in mind, and he just kind of looked out and thought right at the last second about what he can do. I think it would have been better if they alluded to the fact that this was a plan by Naruto right from the get-go. Naruto finally learned, albeit just a very small little bit, but he's finally learned a little bit about Jigen and that he is the leader behind Kara's plans. I'm hoping that after this, Kawaki is actually going to spill the beans a little bit to Naruto about what the hell is actually going on with Kara and Jigen in specific, because I know when you think about it chapter-wise, we're 33 chapters deep, but one chapter Boruto is like a 2 and a bit chapters of any other weekly series. So if you kind of like double the Boruto chapters to make it more in line with the weekly series, we're talking like 60 odd, nearly 70 chapters deep. I think by now we deserve to at least know a little bit about what on earth Kara are trying to do. We know they want the seals and we know they need a vessel, but what for? What is Jigen? A lot of questions, and I think we need to start slowly getting some answers. I also just hope that Kashin Koji just like appears out of nowhere and just confronts both Naruto and Kawaki. Not in like a vicious way to start a fight or anything, but more of a wanting to have a talk, a conversation. Hopefully then leading into us learning a bit more about Kashin Koji. And that, because in my opinion anyway, he's still the #1 mystery in the series right now. And God, do I want to know more about him. There was also some talk about Amado, the professor at Kara, and how he could potentially recreate Kawaki's arm, and that interested me. Is Kawaki really going to go armless until he rejoins back with Kara? That would be a definite surprise, to say the least. One of the biggest questions regarding this chapter right now in the community is Delta dead? If I had to put money on it, I'd say no. Purely because, and even if she was, I think she'd come back with the help of Amado later on down the line. But more specifically because Naruto has never really killed before. The closest he's ever really gotten to was Haku and Kakuzu, but Kakashi was the one that actually finished them both off and got the vital finishing blow. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is just me thinking a bit differently. Maybe Naruto's character's changed drastically as he's gotten older. But I just think it's a little bit out of character for Naruto to be so, like, have such a murderous intent about him and go straight for the kill on someone. He's much more of a character that would make them into a state that is unable to keep fighting, then question them, try and talk to them, and then once he's done all that, then he will make his final judgment. A little bit like what was going on with Madara. Naruto kept trying to talk Jutsu Madara. Once he started to realize Madara was not going to oblige, then he started to go down the road of, right, I'm actually going to have to defeat this person for real. I can't quite predict what this next arc is going to be about, but what I do think is it's going to be a good one, purely for the fact that it's ending off right at the end of a fight, and there's still technically two enemies. Whether or not Delta's dead, you know, it might just be one, but Kashin Koji's still in the village, so I'm hoping the next arc is going to jump straight into it and just go off from there. A little bit like how the Kawaki arc started. The Kawaki arc, in my opinion, peaked. That little bit where there was the bit with Kashin Koji and Delta looking on, then Kawaki versus Garou, that, in my opinion, was the highlight of the Kawaki arc. I think that was when it was at its high. And then when Kawaki came to the village, it was kind of good for plot progression and bringing characters together. But at the same time, it's kind of like you wanted it to speed up a little bit. And then, like I've said about this Delta fight, I thought it was alright, but it wasn't that exciting. Like I also said, Delta is there, so what's Naruto going to do with her? Questioning her is probably the most obvious route, I'd say, like I've already said. But her drone, I believe, is still there in the vicinity, so maybe, just maybe, it's going to do something to allow Delta to kind of like teleport or something back to Jigen before Naruto can even get a chance to recover her. So then, thank you to Anime Balls Deep for actually bringing this to my attention, but this really got me thinking about Delta. The way that she refers to Naruto as a mere human being makes it seem like she isn't one herself at all. And I understand she's technically a cyborg, but if she was human to begin with, you'd think she'd still seem to at least refer to herself as one, no? So maybe she was never one to begin with. I don't know. It's a very odd one. Either it's a line filled with short foreshadowing and questions, or on the other hand, it is a line filled with nothing at all, no substance whatsoever. But only time will tell. So then I asked you guys what you made of Boruto chapter 33 to let me know, and for a chance to be in the review. I'm going to scroll through some of them now. So Vittorio Morelli. Yeah, that is definitely, I've butchered that name, definitely. But he says that, or she, probably the least exciting fight in the whole of Naruto/Boruto history. It was so plain and boring, there was no twist at all. Delta's abilities were nothing new, the same body modifications as Kawaki's. Yeah, I said this is something I really didn't like, is the fact that it was exactly the same as Kawaki and Momoshiki. I do think there needs to be a little bit of diversity soon with the next villain. Plus Owl's drones and Superman's laser eyes in the trash, all Delta's dojutsu speculations and theories. Naruto was always leading the fight. Despite this, he let Delta attack Himawari and hurt Kawaki, and in the end, he beat her with the oldest strategy possible. And all this boring nothing occupied 3 freaking chapters. 3 months of nothing. So yeah, this is a very common opinion I think I found going through some people's opinions about this chapter, so we'll go on. I felt that chapter 33 was mindless trash. They wasted 3 chapters over 3 months for a fight that did not have any plot progression. Even the manga has joined Boruto anime in being trash now. Wow! Think Tank 007. Now, that is a very bold statement. I mean, although I thought the fight was kind of I don't know if it's as bad as the anime yet. We'll see. Frost 2028 calmly just says, lame chapter. So, yeah, okay. Boruto's dad, this is a long one. People that complain about there being 3 chapters of fighting clearly don't remember the Naruto days. Boruto has no action. There's action for multiple chapters and people are still complaining about how it's too much. Delta is OP. Naruto stomps her technically, which is key, and people cry about Delta being weak. Get over it. This chapter was great, and who can complain about seeing Naruto fight? Think about it. Realistically, he might end up being involved in max 3 more fights by the end of Boruto. Appreciate what we have now. Only thing is that there should have been more reference to Kashin Koji. I like Kawaki giving commentary, but they should have done the same with Kashin Koji. That is a great idea. I would have liked to have seen Kawaki commentating on Naruto's side of the fight while Kashin Koji commented over the Delta portion. That would have been quite interesting. I hope Delta isn't dead, but she was made to look so amateurish. I think she will escape and tell Jigen about everything, what's happened, and I'll be interested to see Jigen's reaction to Kawaki's day with Naruto. I think Kashin Koji will stay in the Leaf for a while on another mission. Now, I agree with the final statements. I do think Delta's going to somehow get away. Jigen will learn about it, and then we'll see what Jigen's reaction is going to be. I don't know whether he'll be angry, calm, no idea, hard to predict. Kashin Koji, I definitely think will stay in the Leaf for sure. Maybe, and just maybe, could be me going a bit wild, but maybe he'll come in and just steal the finishing blow on Delta and he'll be the one to kill her. That'd be interesting for sure. Let's go down a bit more so we don't take up too much time. I do apologize if I did not go through yours. I did not expect that we'd start getting so many replies on these review posts. But Jason of the 13th Ward, nice Tokyo Ghoul reference. Another chapter in which Boruto has to depend on Naruto's activity to be relevant. This is the saddest manga I've seen. Overall, good chapter to read if you're looking to know an epic fight scene that's going to save the Boruto anime ratings at that time period. Now, I do not necessarily agree, but I do want to bring it up that Naruto in the manga is so different to Naruto in the anime, and the way their roles are literally switched. Naruto does most of the important stuff in the manga, while Boruto does literally everything in the anime. So it's quite an odd one, but we'll continue. My only enjoyment of this will be when the anime adapts it. Definitely, like I said, I can't wait for that. Think it was great. Expected to see Naruto blast Delta with many more Rasengans. By sourcing her up with the hands, it was fine too. Yeah, this kind of goes into what I said earlier. I would have liked it if he was just kind of blasting Rasengans at her throughout the fight as a kind of a game plan. I don't know if that would have looked any good, but it's just my thoughts on it. And I think that chapter 33 was great, and I hope you're doing well for the next video. Well, thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. I am doing it very well, and I hope you are as well. Same goes for the rest of you. And then we'll finish off with this one. It was pretty cool. I wish we got better taijutsu, but it was epic nonetheless. So yeah, I think I'm going to end this on kind of reiterating my point about what my problem with the fight was. My problem isn't the fact that a fight lasted for 3 chapters. Not at all. I couldn't care less. I believe the Ao fight that lasted for 3 chapters, maybe 4. I think the difference with that is it was kind of going back and forth between different things. There was a lot more commentary. We got a lot more dialogue between characters. The Naruto versus Delta fight was very taijutsu heavy, which is not a bad thing, but it's just very, I don't know whether this word is going over the top, but it's a bit boring in manga form, especially when, and no offense to Ikimoto here, okay? I'm sorry, I know people are going to hate me saying it, but Ikimoto's art just isn't that great, and when you're pairing that up with boring taijutsu panels and then random pages of purely just smoke, I believe we got 2 pages in this chapter which were basically just smoke. It's very, very boring in my opinion. So it's not the fact that the fight lasted 3 chapters, it's the fact that the fight wasn't that fun to read, in my opinion. That's what I have to say. Many recycled panels, very boring panels. It didn't give you a good idea of what was actually going on. You get lost sometimes, and I don't know. It's just, in my opinion, the fight was kind of mediocre, and I do agree with whoever said it was the worst fight so far in the Boruto manga. Definitely. Also, talking about Naruto and, you know, enjoying it while it lasts, although I do sort of agree with that because I do hope he goes soon. I think sooner Naruto goes, the better, in my opinion. Not because I hate Naruto, I absolutely love the guy, he's a legend. But I do think the story will benefit from Naruto's disappearance immensely when it finally happens. Yeah, that's just what I have to say anyway. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're not already to become a member of the Senpai Squad. And I'll be seeing you guys in another video. As always, leave all your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Until next time, peace.